Welcome back. Today, we're bringing you an explainer that dives into a profoundly fascinating piece of history. We're looking at the very origins of human civilization, exploring a legacy that is often understated but is absolutely foundational to who we are today. We're literally going back to the dawn of time to unpack the incredible life, the immense responsibilities, and the lasting legacy of Prophet Sheth, peace be upon him. You know, it's incredibly rare to have detailed historical accounts of such ancient figures, and yet the texts we have offer a stunningly clear picture of his impact. So get ready, because this ancient history is actually far more relevant to you than you might think. So let me ask you something right off the bat, just to hook you. Do you know which prophet the lineage of all humans alive today traces back to? Just think about that for a second. We so often read historical texts as if they're these distant, dusty stories, completely detached from our modern reality. But this specific piece of history, it's deeply personal. It is not just trivia. It's woven into the very existence, the very DNA of every single person watching this explainer right now. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to break this legacy down into four main parts. First, earthly settlement and prophethood. Second, maintenance of the Kaaba. Third, the second father of humanity. And finally, final will and great legacy. Starting with part one, earthly settlement and prophethood. To really grasp the weight of his legacy, we've got to transport ourselves back to the very dawn of human civilization. He was entrusted with becoming the second prophet on Earth. And the sheer scale of that responsibility, it is hard to overstate. Just imagine this seamless succession of spiritual and earthly authority unfolding. First, Adam, peace be upon him, passes down the mantle of leadership. Then, Prophet Sheth receives 50 distinct scriptures directly from Allah. I mean, that is a massive, unprecedented infusion of divine guidance. And what does he do with it? Well, he doesn't just keep it as abstract theology. He takes the deep wisdom in those 50 scriptures and uses it to begin the rigorous, practical work of earthly settlement. Think about what that actually entails at the beginning of history, moving humanity way beyond mere survival. He's essentially laying down the foundational blueprints for how human beings organize, establish basic laws, build thriving communities, and truly civilize the earth. That brings us to part two. Maintenance of the Kaaba. That incredible undertaking in civilizing the earth leads us right into the intense physical administration of the sacred lands, where he steps into the role of the custodian of Mecca. Imagine the immense vacuum left behind after the passing of the very first human and prophet, Adam. The psychological and spiritual weight on those early communities must have been absolutely staggering. The foundations of worship could have easily crumbled under that loss, but Prophet Sheth stepped into the breach. He took on the monumental task of maintaining the Kaaba and making sure that the foundational rituals of Hajj and worship in Mecca continued without a hitch. He basically became the anchor, managing the spiritual heartbeat of early humanity so they wouldn't lose their compass, all while simultaneously managing their day-to-day earthly affairs. And this is brilliantly illustrated by the renowned historian Allama Ibn Kathir in his famous historical work Al-Bidayah wan-Nihayah. Ibn Kathir points out that Prophet Sheth beautifully managed earthly affairs, acts of worship, and the administration of settlements. I really want to draw your attention to the use of the word beautifully there. Balancing the strict requirements of worship with the messy, complex reality of administering brand new human settlements is incredibly difficult. That specific word validates that he didn't just rule with an iron fist, he led with an exemplary, organized administrative excellence and a profound grace that historians revere to this very day. Moving on to part three, the second father of humanity. Okay, prepare yourselves, because this is probably the most mind-bending historical fact about his genealogy. Let's just slow down for a second and really process this term. Abu al-Bashar al-Thani, the second father of humanity. Now, this isn't just a poetic nickname or some honorific title given lightly. Historians use this highly specific term because of a fascinating historical and genetic bottleneck that occurred in our early human history. It implies that at a certain point, the sprawling branches of early humanity narrowed down in a way that forever changed the trajectory of the human family tree. Now, what's really interesting to see is the stark contrast in these historical records. On one hand, we see the lineage of Prophet Sheth thriving, expanding, and eventually going on to populate the entire earth over generations. But when we look at the lineage of Adam's other children, a totally different picture emerges. According to historical accounts, their lineages simply did not continue. They didn't survive the test of time, just fading into the ancient past. What that means is, out of all the original descendants, the only branch of the early human family tree that actually made it to the modern world is his. Just to cement this profound realization, you should know this is a matter of heavy historical consensus among academic giants. Scholars like Ibn Jarir al-Tabari and Ibn Kathir, whose works carry immense academic weight and unmatched credibility in historical scholarship, both confirm that all present human lineage traces exclusively through Prophet Sheth. Let that sink in for just a moment. You, me, your neighbors, and everyone walking the earth today, regardless of where you are from, we all share a direct, unbroken ancestral connection to this specific prophet. Which leads us to part 4, final will and great legacy. Knowing that deep personal connection, let's look at how this long, incredibly blessed life came to a close, and what he wanted to leave behind for his descendants. I mean, he fulfilled a truly monumental mission, achieving things that are incredibly rare to accomplish in a single lifetime. He successfully raised the flag of Tawheed, cementing the pure belief in the oneness of God across the earth. But remember, he wasn't just a guardian of theology. He was a profound educator, actively teaching the wisdom of those 50 scriptures to the people. And through it all, he remained a masterful administrator, establishing justice and a functioning earthly order. He literally united spiritual purity with societal justice flawlessly. But on his deathbed, surrounded by his followers and his family, his final will wasn't about securing earthly settlements or maintaining administrative power or passing down wealth. His final parting words were simply, "Hold fast to taqwa and remain steadfast upon the commands of Allah." Taqwa, that deep, conscious piety, that unwavering awareness of God in every single action. Above all the civilizations he helped build, he prioritized the spiritual survival of his offspring. He wanted the light of divine guidance to continue burning bright in his descendants long after he departed this world.
So, what does this all mean for us? As the direct descendants of the second father of humanity, how are we carrying forward his legacy of justice and taqwa today? Are we building our lives and our communities with that same conscious awareness of God? It's a profound thought to carry with you, a reminder that this ancient history is not locked away in dusty books. It is still living and breathing in the choices you make every single day. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible legacy, and I'll see you in the next explainer.